Up till now, we have talked about buccal cavity, various structures which are there in buccal cavity and even in pharynx or the parts of pharynx also. Now from this segment, we are starting with the actual tubular part, that is esophagus, then stomach, then small intestine and large intestine. Before we talk about this tubular structure, we need to understand the histology part of alimentary canal. So we are talking of histology of alimentary canal or GI tract. Now what exactly is meant by histology? We are now talking about the tissues or various tissues which this tube or our alimentary canal is made up of. It is made up of 4 layers. The outermost layer is known as peritoneum or serosa. The second layer is called muscularis, and as the name tells us, muscularis, this is the muscular layer, and we'll go into details of this. The third layer is submucosa, and the innermost is mucosa, and this is from outside in. The peritoneum or the serosa layer is the outermost and the mucosa is the innermost. So here we can write this is the outermost layer and mucosa is the innermost layer. Now let us understand what these layers are made up of so that it is easier for us to draw those structures. Serosa or peritoneum, it is an epithelial layer. It is made up of simple squamous epithelium, and this is the outermost layer. So if we have to draw this epithelium layer would be squamous cells, flat cells, and simple epithelium, that means a single layer of cells, not multi-layer. So this is the outermost layer, that is serosa. Now inner to serosa is muscularis. Muscularis is again divided into layers. The outer layer is longitudinal muscles, and the inner is circular muscles. Now, when we are talking of outer longitudinal and inner circular muscles, we are talking of all the areas except one where there is an additional layer, that is oblique muscles. We'll talk about that separately under stomach, but in general there are 2 layers in the muscularis. Outer one is longitudinal, and if we have to draw those muscles would be drawn like this because they would be cut, and this is the transverse section that we are drawing. So these are longitudinal muscles, and this is the outer layer. Inner to this is this circular muscle layer, and circular muscle layer or these circular muscles would be cut or seen like this. So this becomes the circular muscle layer, and together these 2 would make muscularis, that is the muscle layer. And as we said, in stomach there is one more type of muscle, that is oblique muscles. So oblique muscles are found in stomach. So this is one very important thing. In general, when we talk of the complete alimentary canal, starting from esophagus up to the last part, there are 2 muscular layers or 2 types of muscles. Outer longitudinal and inner circular. Only in stomach there are 3 layers. Outer longitudinal, this will become middle, and the innermost would be oblique. So that is only in case of one structure. Now coming to submucosa. Submucosa is made up of dense connective tissue and it also has blood vessels. So when we draw this connective tissue layer, we normally just, put the connective tissue like this and show certain blood vessels and nerves and these structures. So basically it is all connective tissue. Now coming to the innermost layer. This innermost layer, that is mucosa, is further divided into 3 sub-layers. There are 3 layers, and again we are going from outside inwards. The outermost is a muscular layer, and because it is muscular layer of mucosa, it is known as Muscularis mucosae, because it is the layer of mucosa. So this part is submucosa, and when we are drawing the 3 layers, we are on the innermost. Innermost means in this section. This is the muscular layer. So we label it as Muscularis mucosae. Then the second layer is called Lamina propria. This is made up of reticular tissue, and it is again having connective tissue, blood vessels. So this becomes Lamina propria. And reticular tissue, so we can draw the fibers also here. And the innermost is the epithelial layer. And this is the epithelial layer where most of the glands are found in the intestine or stomach region. So here this is the epithelial layer. Epithelial layer. And these 3 together make mucosa. So when we talk of histological part, there are 4 layers. Outermost serosa, then a muscularis layer, submucosa and mucosa. Serosa is the outermost layer. It is going to cover the complete structure. It is also known as peritoneal layer, made up of squamous epithelium. Muscular layer, in case of all the structures except stomach, there are 2 muscular layers. Outer one is longitudinal and inner is circular. Now, in between these 2 muscular layers, that means between longitudinal and circular muscles, there is a network of neurons, or we can say neurons which are parasympathetic. So this layer which I have added here, this is a layer or a network of neurons. It is known as or back plexus. This is a network of parasympathetic neurons. Network of parasympathetic neurons, and they help in coordination of the muscular activities. When the food moves through the alimentary canal, the rhythmic contractions, which are called peristalsis, they are the main muscular movements which are seen. This is submucosa, which is mainly connective tissue, dense connective tissue, has blood vessels, nerves, and the innermost layer is again a 3-layered membrane. Of this innermost layer, the inner, that means towards the lumen or the cavity of alimentary canal, would be epithelial, then would be the next layer, that is lamina propria, and the muscularis layer of mucosa. When we draw the glands, like when we come to stomach, we would draw gastric glands. So this layer, that is the mucosal epithelium, it is going to have those glands. So all glands, intestinal glands or gastric glands, they would be due to infolding of this mucosal layer. So this is the general histology of the alimentary canal. The most important thing that we have to remember is this, that there is an additional type of muscle which is seen in case of stomach, and that is oblique muscle. And now in the next section we will start with the actual structures, that is esophagus first.